Hi there. Today we're going to get started standing for our yoga class. So find the top of your mat, feet together, and just take a deep breath in and out. Take a moment just to notice how your body feels. Finding space to check in mentally and find a space to check in physically. Give yourself permission to take a break or to modify things in this routine to really meet your body where it's at right now as you go through this class. And it might be different from other days that you've done yoga, and that's okay. Tuning into our present moment, letting go of expectations, letting go of judgment with ourselves. Continue to bring your awareness to your breath. If it works, to inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose or mouth. Feel your feet in contact with the mat. Imagine each foot has 4 corners, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. And take a moment just to almost trace your feet around those 4 corners. Maybe you feel a little gentle ankle movement happening as you're imagining those 4 corners. And just as if your feet were tracing around those 4 corners on each side. And now feeling grounded through your feet, if your eyes are closed, I invite you to open your eyes. Let's take an inhale with an overhead reach. Feel the spine lengthen. Exhale, arms to heart center. Soften through the knees, and let's just fold forward here towards our mat. Or if you'd like to, you can use a block here too to bring the mat a little closer up to your hands, depending on your comfort level with bending forward. Allow your spine to stretch forward. Allow your neck to relax. Feel the gentle pull of the hamstrings. And now let's soften through the ankles and knees a little bit more, and we'll rise up through a chair position, taking arms through heart center. Now, if we're taking care of knees and we don't want to keep our knees very bent here, that's okay. We can have a shallow bend. Feeling our thighs, our quadriceps kick on, feeling our glute muscles, our rear muscles kick on, drawing belly towards spine. And now all the way up to standing. Inhale, overhead reach. Imagine the spine lengthening. Exhale, fold forward, arms through heart center. Finding that block or the mat, either way. Allowing the head to relax. Soft through the knees, we'll rise up through that chair again. Feeling our feet grounded, feeling the thighs strong. And then all the way up to standing. Inhale, overhead reach. Let's add a little bend to your left. So arms can come together, or if we're taking care of shoulders and we want to keep those arms slightly apart, we can do that too as we gently lean to one side, finding a gentle stretch on the other side, and back to center, squeezing our thighs together, tightening belly muscles, and over to the other side. And back to center. Arms come together and soft through the knees, let's flow down. Notice how your body feels with this gentle movement. Allow the head to release. Let's add an inhale, halfway lift here, creating a flat spine. Arms can gently rest on your shins or your thighs here. Exhale, forward fold. From here, stepping that left leg back long. We can plant the ball of the foot, and then if you'd like to, you can take that back knee down. Left hand can plant to the mat, or if you'd like to place it on a block, feel free to do so. Right arm lifts for the twist. Continue to breathe. Feel a lengthening through the right fingertips, all the way up towards the ceiling, wherever your arm reaches to. And then back down, untwist. From here then, let's bring the right leg, and you can help it underneath you, finding hands and knees position. Moving into our cat and cow. On the inhale, gently dropping the navel down towards the mat. A little tightening in those belly muscles can be quite helpful here. On the exhale, rounding the spine upward. Let the head relax. Feeling the low back curve. And feeling free to move at your own pace with this. Noticing perhaps areas of the spine that are moving easily, and maybe areas of the spine that are not moving quite as easily. Working within the ranges that you feel most comfortable with. Exploring through your body. And then finding our neutral spine position with a flat back here, just drawing your belly towards your spine with a tightening of those deep abdominal muscles. Taking the left leg behind you, reaching that heel behind, and the toes of that back leg point downward. If you'd like to, you can stay here and hold, or feel free to add the right arm. Lift with the thumb angled up towards the ceiling. Feeling a kind of dynamic tension or opposites. As the heel reaches for one end of the room, the fingertips reach for the other end. And then arm and leg can come back in. Taking your right leg back now, reaching the heel back. Left arm comes forward, thumb leading, and back in. Nice work. From here, let's take knees wide, and we'll have the heels slightly together. Reach back for a child's pose, sitting the hips back, reaching the fingertips forward as far as you'd like to. A couple alternate options here if we're taking care of hips or knees, or perhaps we've had a hip replacement and we want to keep the hips a little bit higher. We can take our child's pose in a modified way, down on forearms with the hips a little bit higher. This sometimes works well if we're taking care of shoulders too. And so just working into the gentle range of motion that's available for our joints. Taking a breath in and a breath out. Notice at the height of your inhale as the back part of your rib cage kind of expands. Does it feel a little more restricted perhaps on one side compared to the other? Or maybe they feel pretty equal. And now rising back towards hands and knees. We can tuck our toes here, pressing up into our first down dog. And take a moment here to check in with this down dog, spreading fingers wide so that we have a nice distributed pressure through our hands. Knees can be bent, and we're pressing the floor away from our hands, creating this nice long line through the spine, from the tailbone to the crown of the head. From this position then, just taking a breath in and a breath out. Maybe it feels kind of nice to pedal your heels one and then the other here towards the floor. And then finding stillness. It's okay if the heels aren't touching the floor. Now slowly walk your feet towards your hands. Now, as you run out of space here, you can bend your knees a little bit deeper. Having your feet a little bit apart can be helpful. And now let's press strong through your feet. Feel your legs power up as you press up to standing. Inhale, overhead reach. Exhale, arms to heart center. And let's just pause here. Take a breath in, take a breath out. And now folding forward, soft through the knees. Step back with your right leg. And from here we can take the right knee down, planting the right hand to floor or block, and then a twist with the left arm lifting. Feeling the fingertips reach towards the ceiling. Working to pull that left shoulder a little bit away from the ear. And now let's untwist. We can help that left leg along behind us, underneath us. And from here, moving into our cat and cow again. Lowering the navel on the inhale. And on the exhale, rounding the spine upward. Again, feeling free to move at your own pace here, exploring spinal movements, noticing maybe it feels a little tight between the shoulder blades, especially on the sag direction, like right in this area. Most of us sit with kind of that rounded upper back area. And then as we round upward, tucking the tailbone, and sometimes we feel this in that low back because it creates a nice stretch through those low back muscles, the paraspinal muscles, multifidi. Those are just the names of those lower some muscles we have all the way down our spine. But they get particularly tight in that lower spine area. And now finding neutral spine again here. Let's reach the left leg back and the right arm forward if we choose to add the arm. Again, always the option to keep both hands down and just take a leg back if you prefer. And arm and leg in. Swapping now to the other side. Right leg, left arm. Breath in, breath out. And arm and leg can come back in. One more time each side. And arm and leg back in. Last time, right leg, left arm. Stretch, inhale. Exhale, arm and leg back in. From here, let's take a wide knee position, heels together, sitting the hips back for child's pose. Taking your child's pose of choice today. Breath in. Breath out. Notice your body. Physically, notice your body mentally. Finding space just to check in. And now from here, let's rock forward to find our hands and knees position again. Tucking toes, moving into our down dog. Take a moment again just to explore this down dog. Feel the ankle, the calf stretch, the Achilles tendon, the back part of our ankles, maybe even the hamstrings. Breath in, breath out. And now from here, let's take our feet wide on the mat. So just walk them apart. We're going to walk our hands back towards our feet. And as we do so, continue to bend your knees, allowing your heels to reach downward as far as they can. And we kind of walk our way back here. And now roll the spine up, keeping the knees soft. One vertebrae at a time until we get to the top. And give yourself a moment here in case you're a bit dizzy from hanging upside down. And then we'll find the top edge of our mat again. Just closing eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. Or if you're feeling a little uncertain with your balance, just keeping the eyes open. Breath in, breath out, just letting the body get accustomed to being upright again for a moment. Letting the shoulders and the neck relax. From here, let's take an inhale with an overhead reach. Exhale, arms to heart center. We'll root through our right leg, lifting the left leg and stepping it back to find warrior one. Back toe can be out slightly and the heel is down here. Options to keep your arms at heart center or take some overhead if that feels okay. Finding your breath, letting your shoulders sink away from your ears. Now, if we're taking care of hips or back, let's say we feel a little tightness in our hip or our low back, we can always take that back leg, the left leg, and just step it out to the left an inch or so, widening that base of support. Usually that helps. Now, if we're feeling fine here, then no need to make that change. drawing belly towards spine. From here, let's take arms to heart center. And we're going to shift forward towards our front knee and lift the back leg slowly up in front of us. Good, so we find a moment of balance here. If you'd like to, you can always place that left foot on a block for an in-between option. So if it feels a little bit much to have that leg balancing in front, just place it on your block. It's handy to have those blocks nearby for our routines. Finding strength through your right thigh, your right glute muscle, lifting tall through the spine. And then let's place that leg down next to the other leg. Inhale, overhead reach. Exhale, folding forward, soft through the knees, letting the head relax. Inhale, halfway lift. A lengthening of the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Soft through the knees, let's rise up to standing. Inhale. Exhale, arms to heart center. Rooting through your left foot now, step the right leg back, finding warrior one. Back heel down, toes out just a little bit. Feel free to keep arms at heart center or take them overhead. Letting the shoulders release away from the ears. Finding a pause here in your warrior one, feeling strong and grounded. Feeling both feet in contact with the mat. Arms to heart center now. Rooting through your left foot, shift the upper body forward. We'll lift that right knee either to a block or the foot to a block, or the knee lifts up in front. Good, so finding length through your spine. Really feel that left thigh strong. The left glute muscle is strong. Breathing in, breathing out. And let's set that leg down. Inhale, overhead reach. Exhale, folding forward, soft through the knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And take a moment to notice here if this forward fold is starting to feel a little bit more warmed up. From here, let's step that left leg back to warrior one. Back heel is down, toes are out slightly. Now we'll make the transition up, but we want to tighten our belly muscles and draw the inner thighs towards each other. Even though they're not going to move, we fire up those muscles to help us with this transition. Finding our strong warrior one here. And we're going to add on to our routine just a little bit. From this warrior one, arms to heart center. We'll shift forward, lifting that left leg again in front. Now, if you need to, you can kind of drag that back toe a little bit to help you with this transition, either placing that left foot on a block or lifting the leg in front. And then from here, let's add on our figure four balance. So crossing the left leg over the right leg, sitting the hips back and finding a moment of balance here. We can also, as a modification to this, we can keep that foot on the block and bend our standing leg. We can take that block a little closer if we wanted to still get that figure four type position and rest the foot on a block. Always the option, as I reached out to grab the wall, always the option to do this by a wall so that you can have something to hang on to or even have a chair nearby to hold on to. So lots of options to make this work for each individual. And then let's uncross, placing that left leg back down. Good work. Take a moment, inhale, overhead reach. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthening through the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Stepping the right leg back to warrior one. Now engaging through our core muscles, inner thighs kind of draw towards each other. We make that transition up to warrior one. Breath in, breath out. Arms to heart center. We're going to shift forward, bringing that right leg up in front or placing the foot on a block. Strong through the left thigh. Finding that balance, and then we can cross the right leg over the left, finding our figure four balance. And now we sit the hips back like we're sitting in a chair, hinging a little bit at the hip here. Again, we can go deeper if that feels better for us. If we're taking care of hips or knees, maybe we keep this pretty shallow, finding and meeting our body where it's at. And then let's go ahead and uncross, placing that right leg down. Inhale, overhead reach. Exhale, folding forward. Take a moment to hang here, knees are soft. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Planting our hands, we can step the left leg back, rising up to warrior one. So finding that stability. Inhale, we lift the arms up. Exhale, stay. Let's open up to warrior two here. So we're going to swivel to your left, finding our warrior two position. So the right knee is bent. And if we look down at that right thigh, you want to have the thigh kind of tracking with your foot. And so check in, you may have to move your foot forward a little bit if your knee is kind of angled in front and kind of rolling in. So we want to have the foot placement so the thigh can just kind of be a continuation of that line. Finding warrior two, shoulders away from the ears. Feeling strong here, feeling grounded. Finding stability, finding a calm with your breath and a calm with your mind. Then from here, let's reverse the warrior. So the left arm is going to reach down. Right arm reaches tall. Finding length through the right fingertips all the way up towards the ceiling. And now back through to warrior two. Then working our way into our side angle here. Right elbow can reach towards our thigh. We'll give a couple options here. So we want to keep our tailbone tucked under a bit, reaching that left arm fingertips towards the ceiling. Now let's say we're taking care of a left shoulder. If we want to, we can keep that left arm closer to our side so pinky stays by our side. So that's one option here. The other option, if we'd like to, is with that right arm. If we're feeling like we have a little bit more mobility today, we can reach that arm down towards a block or even the floor. Feeling an openness through the chest. Feeling that left shoulder blade drawing back and down. And now press back up. We find our warrior two again. Let's straighten that right knee. And if you'd like to heel toe your feet a bit closer so you don't feel like you're doing the splits, we'll turn palms up, shift to your right, and now continue to tuck the tailbone as you slowly sink down towards that right leg. I shouldn't say sink, but more of a controlled lowering here because we're still firing a lot of core muscles. That right arm can rest on the shin. It can rest on a block, depending on our mobility. Finding breath. And now let's bend through the right knee. Back up we go, finding warrior two position. Arms to heart center. From here, we're gonna pivot back to facing the front edge of your mat. Lifting that left heel, pivoting around. Breath in and breath out. We'll work our way into, I'm going to shift back on my mat here a second, but we'll work our way into a warrior three. And so there'll be options for this too. Feel free, you can always hold onto a chair or shift the body forward Slowly lifting that back leg, finding your warrior three. Options here to take the arms out to the sides or to reach the arms forward. Or you can also use your blocks to have double arm support here for this warrior three. So feel free to take the option that works best for your body. And then we're drawing that left leg in to meet the right leg. Take a moment to give the ankles and knees a bit of a bounce here, just to release those hip muscles, especially around the right hip that we're working hard. And then from here, let's rise up to standing. Inhale, overhead lift. Exhale, arms to heart center. And pause for a moment. I'm going to swap to the other front edge of my mat so my back doesn't end up towards you guys. But you guys can stay at the front edge of your mat. Arms to heart center. Let's fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stepping the right leg back to warrior one. Back heel down. Strong through the legs. Let's rise up to warrior one. Inhale. Exhale. Grounding through your feet. Feeling length through your spine, through the crown of your head. And now let's open up to find warrior two on this side. So checking in again with our thigh and foot angle. If we look down, we want to see that the thigh and the foot are continuous. Strong through our legs. Tightening through the belly muscles. And now let's reverse the warrior. Right arm reaches down, left arm lifts. Finding length all the way down that left side body. Keeping that left knee bent. Sometimes that left knee kind of wants to go with our arm. But keeping that left knee bent for this time. And now back through to warrior two. Let's shift the left elbow towards our thigh for our side angle. Reaching the right fingertips up. Left arm can reach down if that works better for our bodies. It can reach to a block. Lots of options here. Continuing to work to tuck the tailbone slightly so we really feel that nice long stretch down the side of that right outer hip area, maybe low back area. And now back up we go, finding warrior two. We can straighten that left knee and maybe even heel toe the feet a bit closer together. Turning palms up, shift left and down for our triangle. Again, we're tucking the tailbone here. Feeling an opening through the chest. And now bending through that left knee, back we go to warrior two. Arms to heart center. We're going to pivot around to face the front edge of the mat. So we lift that right heel, turning with control to the front edge of the mat. Find stability here and then work into the warrior three of your choice. Shifting forward, lifting that back leg. Options to take the arms where it works best for your body. Holding onto the blocks or taking arms out to the side. And then we can draw that right leg in to meet the left leg. Amazing job. Inhale, overhead reach. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Allowing the head and the neck to relax. Soft through the knees here. Let's rise up to standing. Inhale. Exhale, arms to heart center. And we'll turn to face the long edge of our mat now, taking a wide leg position. And from here, let's soften through the knees. as we reach down for the floor or the block. So if that floor feels like it's a bit far away, we can have the block underneath here to rest on too. So take the option that works best for you. Allowing the head to relax. So maybe we're getting an inner thigh stretch here, maybe down the hamstrings, the back of the legs. We can hold this position, or we can take our arms behind us if we would like for an additional shoulder stretch. Reaching those arms away from our back, any amount. And if our arms are reaching, take a moment to engage those shoulder blades, pulling the blades or the shoulders away from our ears here. And then we can release the arms back down. And now, so nobody gets too dizzy, let's soften through the knees, and we can roll back up. Nice and slow. Once you're here, give yourself a moment. Breathe in, breathe out, making sure you're not feeling too dizzy. And then staying the long edge of the mat, we're going to turn the toes out slightly and bend through the knees. So we kind of start off here with our partial squat, kind of like our goddess pose type position. But we're going to move a little bit from here. So taking our arms overhead, we find that squat position. And now with the palms facing each other, we're going to take a big circle. So shifting over towards one side, like you're drawing a big circle with your fingertips. Slowly now reaching down towards the ground. The other side, so we find that rotation in our upper body and all the way back up to middle. Reverse the circle this time. Over to the one side and down, around, and back up to center. From here, let's take our goddess pose with our arms out. Now we're drawing our shoulder blades together and down the spine here. Feeling the back part of our shoulders activate our shoulder external rotators. We're also pressing the thighs out here. So our hip outer muscles are active. Maybe we're starting to feel those thighs a bit. Breath in and breath out. Arms can come to heart center. Now we'll have a little fun from this position. Let's pivot and shift towards your right leg. Good, so we lifted that left heel in order to pivot around to the right. And now shift forward, find warrior three, lifting that left leg. And then we place that foot back down, finding our way back to goddess. Arms to heart center, the other direction now. So we lift the right heel, pivot around to face the left. Shift forward, finding your warrior three, whatever works for you today, and placing that leg back down. Heel down, we open back up to goddess. All right, so we'll have the option to do that again, that same way, or if you'd like to turn this into a half moon from warrior three, you can do that too. Arms to heart center, pivot to your right. Good, now option to take warrior three and to hold, or if you'd like to open that out to your half moon position and hold. Slowly reaching that left leg back, finding your goddess pose. One more time to the other side. Whatever is working for you today, it's okay. Let go of expectation, let go of judgment. Just explore the body in healthy ways. Finding healthy sensations. Again, if you'd like to, you can open this into your half moon from here. And then slowly placing that leg back down, we come back around to find our goddess pose. Nice work. Let's take an inhale, straightening the knees, overhead reach. Exhale, just a nice big sunflower, reaching the arms down, bending the knees, and back up. Taking a couple more of these. Should feel kind of nice to move those legs now. Straightening the knees and bending the knees. Arms to heart center. And let's find the top edge of our mat, closing our eyes or keeping them soft. Breath in, breath out. We can find mountain pose, arms by your sides. Check in, notice your body. Notice how you're feeling. Allow the neck muscles to relax. Find your breath, calming the body. From here, we can open our eyes, and we're going to move into a little bit more with our balance routines. All right, so we'll grab a block to have handy for our tree pose, which is the first balance move we'll work into. And we can place that block in front of us, taking arms to heart center. Root through your right foot and go ahead and just lift that left leg as you work to balance through your right foot. Options here, if you practice regularly, you can go ahead and just take the tree pose of choice with that left leg finding a position on your right shin or above the knee on your inner thigh. Feel free to take your arms up or keep them at heart center and find some relaxed breath as you ease into this pose and work on your balance responses. Now, if you'd like to, you can hold on to a chair or a wall here. Other options to use this block would be to gently place that left foot on a block as kind of an in-between option. This is a great option if we're taking care of knees, for example. Let's say that standing right knee doesn't want all the pressure and it's a little tough as we're figuring out the balance systems. It's a nice in-between option. If you feel safe in this position and fairly sturdy, you can also practice closing your eyes and trying to balance here. But just know that that's going to be much more of a challenge for your balance systems when we take that visual dependency away. And once you're done with that leg, whatever expression of tree pose you're finding today, feel free to lower your left leg, moving into tree pose. On the other side, again, feel free to take the option that works best for your individual body. So taking that right leg, lifting it either to the block or to your left leg. Finding the arm position of choice here. Breath in, breath out. Noticing the small adjustments that are happening through your standing foot. Noticing the foot in contact with the floor. And then arms to heart center. And making your way out of tree pose with that right leg lowering back down towards the ground. Feel free just to give your ankles and knees and hips a bit of a wiggle. Maybe some circles with one ankle, circles with the other side. And then from here, we'll also move into our eagle pose. Today for our balance, our second balance challenge. Taking arms to heart center, rooting through your left foot. Lifting that right knee, and I'll give a few options here. You notice I placed that block there again. So if eagle is part of your practice, feel free to make your way into eagle. And if not, we can take that right leg and cross it over the left. So we have options here with this block. So if this is a little bit of a challenge to find the balance here, we can rest the foot on the block as an option to help us with our balance. As always, we can hold on to a chair or a wall. As we're finding our eagle pose here, I invite you to notice if you're kind of sinking into that standing hip. So we want to make sure that that hip, we're not sinking into it. And we're finding a nice tall spine position with the left hip muscles active here. We can continue to hold this position, or if you'd like to add your eagle arms, we can take the arms out and then cross your right arm underneath your left, finding your eagle arm position, drawing the elbows up towards the plane of the shoulders. And now slowly releasing, arms out to the sides, and finding a position with that right leg back on the mat, rooting through your right leg now and taking the eagle on the other side. Your choice, lifting the left knee, crossing it over. Either resting that left foot on a block if you'd like to, Finding a gentle bend in your standing leg, squaring up those hips, either holding here or taking those eagle arms with the left underneath the right. Noticing the work through your right foot. And now releasing and slowly coming out of this position. Again, take a moment to do some ankle circles with each foot. As we finish up with our balance, we're going to make our way a little bit closer down towards the mat. And so finding the top edge of the mat again, let's take an inhale, overhead reach. Exhale, folding forward. Allow the head and neck to relax, knees can stay bent. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, forward fold. Let the head and neck relax again. So often we need those cues. Planting the hands, we'll step back to down dog, one leg at a time. And just take a moment in this down dog to notice if things are feeling a little more warmed up now than they were at the beginning. Soft through the knees, taking a breath in and out. And now let's lower down towards the floor. And shifting into a seated position, we can take the right leg out to the side, left leg can tuck in. And now if you'd like to, you can also sit on a little blanket. Sometimes it helps to bring the pelvis up a little bit, especially if we feel a little tight in our hips or our hamstrings, the back of the thigh. So taking the right leg out to the side, finding a tall spine. We're reaching now that right arm down towards shin or foot, and the left arm can just rest on your left hip, or we can take that left arm up and over for the stretch. Notice if things start to release as you hold the stretch. Maybe some parts don't release and still feel quite tight. We're breathing into those areas. And now back to center. Let's swap to the other side, taking the left leg out, right leg tucks in, finding a nice tall spine here, tall posture. Left arm reaching towards left leg, right arm up and over. Or again, we can always rest that right arm on the hip on the right side. Bringing our nervous system along for the ride for these stretches is so important. So just making sure that we're breathing, lengthening that exhale, feeling tension resolve, feeling a gentle and safe stretch with our exhale so that our nervous system can really relax and respond to those cues that we're giving it. And now back to center. Taking a moment to take both legs out to the sides here, whatever works for your body. Everybody's going to look quite different with this particular stretch. So maybe your legs are not too far apart. Maybe they're closer together. That's okay. Work to find length through your spine here. So we're coming out of our rounded spine position, working to sit tall and stack the spine. Maybe this is enough for you today. Maybe this is where you need to stop with your stretch. Or perhaps your knees stay bent. If you have a couple towels, you can place them underneath the knees here too to support your body where it's at. And if you have more mobility available today, you can shift forward, supporting arms on blocks or pillows or on towards elbows, whatever works for your body. Finding ease with your breath. Finding ease with your stretch. Noticing where things are pulling, noticing where you're feeling this. And as we hold this position, noticing if perhaps some areas are starting to relax, some areas are starting to release, and maybe some areas are not yet, and that's okay. And then from here, slowly making our way back upright. We can help our legs back together. We'll make our way onto our back here for a few more stretches and a little bit of abdominal work. And so finding your way onto your back, feel free to keep your knees bent here. We'll start by feeling a tightening through the belly muscles. And as you press the small of your back down towards the mat with the belly tightening, we can lift one leg up and now lift the other leg up. And then lower one and lower the other. So the option is to continue with this kind of a marching type activity where you're slowly lifting one leg, slowly lowering it, noticing how still you can keep your pelvis and your low back with this. So we want minimal movement in the pelvis and the low back, and it's our deep abdominal muscles, our transversus abdominis, that help control that motion. Of course, we have some other muscles that are kicking in to move our legs, or hip flexors, all sorts of other stuff. But really, we're looking for some core stability here with those base underlying muscles. And if this is feeling okay and you want to go on to the next level, you can take a lift and a lift. And then now our start position is with both legs off the mat. And we're just lowering the toe like we're dipping it in a pool of water. And then we bring it right back up. And now other side. So we're lowering that toe, dipping it in a pool of water, and right back up. Hopefully you can start to feel just a little bit of that deep abdominal stability and contraction in those muscles as you're working to control that low back. Now for some of us, this won't work, this position of double leg off the ground, and that's okay. Then our start position is keeping our legs on the ground and alternating a lift, lift, and a lower, lower, where we get to place our weight all the way through our feet then in between. While finishing up with that, now we can take a gentle side to side rocking motion. Should feel quite nice. Getting the low back to release, nice gentle windshield wiper motion or movement here. Through a small range, we don't even have to go all the way over. Just releasing the outer hips and the low back. And now planting our feet hip distance apart. Let's take a bridge where we're lifting the hips high. And take a moment to activate through your feet here. If you're pushing into your feet, it'll help fire up those quads, the front legs. We can reach the arms together underneath us, taking a breath in and a breath out. And then lowering the hips back down. All right, from here, let's draw the right knee into the chest. And we can take the left leg out straight, reaching that right leg across the body for our spinal twist. The right arm can come out to the side if that feels good. And just enjoying a few breaths here, allowing the right shoulder blade to release down towards the mat. Bringing our nervous system along for the ride again with that inhale and exhale, just directing our breath towards areas of tension. Relaxing the neck, progressively noticing areas that we're holding tension in without realizing it. Maybe we feel a little give in our tissues as we're able to relax. And now bringing the leg back to midline, let's hug both knees into the chest. Taking a side-to-side rocking action, a little bit of a release for that low back again. Right leg can come out straight. Draw the left knee into the chest and over across the body. Left arm can reach out to the side if that feels okay. And here too, working to release into the stretch, allowing the left shoulder blade to relax. And now slowly bringing the leg back to midline, hugging both knees in towards the chest again. We can take feet together and knees wide here for our butterfly stretch, allowing gravity to do the stretch, bringing our awareness now back to the rise and fall of the belly as we inhale and as we exhale, working to release tension around our jaw on either side, working to relax in the area behind our eyes, our forehead, our neck and shoulders. If we're experiencing any discomfort in this position, we can gently contract our deep abdominal muscles, kind of pressing the small of the back down towards the mat. Usually that helps to relieve some of that low back tension as we're working to loosen up our areas around the pelvis. Again, repeating those cues to your own body. If you feel that the neck and the shoulders start to tense up, just giving them that reminder they need. And now bringing knees back towards center. We can find a position with our knees bent or our knees out straight as we finish out our class for our Shavasana. Giving yourself permission to be still for a moment, bringing awareness back to your mind and your body, noticing mentally how you feel and noticing physically how you feel. Noticing any connections that you've made with sensations in your body using your breath, releasing tension. Noticing areas of higher tension and lesser tension. And maybe even noticing some of the power that you can have over those areas of tension using your breath. Noticing now the air as it enters your deep nasal passages and as it exits. The rise and fall of the belly, the gentle expansion of the lower rib cage. And from here, giving yourself permission to stay as long as you would like to in this time of relaxation, this time of grounding, reconnecting with healthy sensations in your body, reconnecting brain with body. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.